mention too is they all have that common theme. It's the universal principles. These principles have been around for thousands of years, and authors just take them and wordsmith them around or put their style to them so that they can sell tickets, sell books, what have you. But it's all the same. There's no reinventing the wheel on universal principles. It is what it is, and if you can stick with that and be aware of that in the moment, then your persona is self-aware, best you can be, right? You know what I mean? And then from that, everything else is a bonus. I mean, we woke up this, people say, oh, I got this going, I got that going, I got a lot. You know what? Let's start with, we woke up this morning.
Yep.
Millions,
200,000 people
around
that didn't.
The planet did not. We did. Everything's a bonus today.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, somebody once said that procrastination is the seeking of something else other than what has been working for the last thousands of years.
Yeah.
You're looking for something different. Hey, just give me something else. I know this simple stuff. Give me something else, and that's why people hold off.
It's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting different results. I mean, there's a few people that we will meet in life, like let's say Sam's a great example, where his whole life is lollipops, rainbows, and sunshine, right? And it's nice that we know somebody like that, but we have to strive towards that, right? He's never had a problem in his life ever.
I want to be a Sam.
Well, you know what? Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true. No, I just want to be me.
There you go.
Well, welcome everybody to the South version of Phoenix Business Exchange, where we get together once a week and we share ideas, share concepts, and share referrals, share whatever we can, so help each other in this group. It's been a phenomenal journey over the last several years, and it never ceases to amaze me that new stuff comes up. And I've heard so many things over the years, and I still learn from the interaction and how we get together. And there's always something new that comes up. It's like playing a game, and there's always a new technique. There's always something that's different. So we'll get right into the education part of it, a little words of wisdom. And today, Penny Lee, what do you have for us today?
Okay, so I thought I would revisit goals, because in January, I'm sure everybody set goals and has a target or an expectation for themselves for the year. But I want to remind you, the last quarter is coming up. And honestly, most businesses make the majority of their income or their revenue in the last quarter of the year, October, November, December. So goal setting is super important. So I'd like to invite you to revisit your goals. Many people find goal setting hard because it's vague. Oftentimes they don't have an action plan to follow through on. And there's nobody to keep them accountable. So just a little tip, Graduate Thrivers is all about that. It's really about setting goals and making sure you have a plan in place to take small steps to move you forward and keep yourself accountable. So success isn't just about reaching your goals, it's about enjoying the journey on the way there as well. And so kind of like Eric mentioned earlier, making sure that you evaluate all areas of your life, not just your business, and be sure to set SMART goals, which are, of course, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time targeted. So some of the questions you might want to ask yourself is, what exactly do you want to accomplish? What are the reasons or the purpose or benefits of accomplishing these objectives? Who's involved, or who are the stakeholders? Who's going to be impacted if you choose to invest more time in your business in the next 3 months? Your family may be impacted, right? So think about the people that are going to be involved with you accomplishing your goals. Where is it going to happen? And which attributes are important? So I have a little napkin test. It's called a napkin test because when you're at a restaurant, you can pull out a napkin and do an evaluation of your life very quickly. So I'd like you to grab a pen and paper very fast. I want you to write down, based on your life and business right now, give yourself a number on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being fantastic, 1 being not so good. Okay, so just don't think too hard. Just write a number down that you think where you're at on your business and life journey right now in this moment. Then I want you to ask yourself 4 different questions. So take that number, set it aside. I want you to ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how is your finances? How are your finances? Give it a number, scale of 1 to 10. Number 2, how are your relationships? Number 3, how is your physical well-being, your overall wellness? Number 4, how is your emotional wellness? How are you making a difference, contributing, giving back? Add those 4 numbers up, the last 4 numbers, divide by 4, and your number should be pretty close to what you thought your overall life was. If it's better, then you're doing better than you thought you were. And if it's lower, then of course, you need a little bit of work. So I want you to look at those 4 categories. The lowest one is the one you need to work on in the next month. So you can do this anytime, anywhere. And you just do a check-in at the end of the month and see where everything's at, because we want to try and keep everything balanced. Like Eric said, you're no good to nobody if you can't take care of yourself first. And of course, the people around you will suffer as well. So you really want to make sure that you've got those 4 categories balanced. So that's our education for today. Have a great rest of the year.
Thank you very much, Penny Lee. That's awesome. And Tanya, thank you very much for coming in, and Natasha's in as well. Well, this was a great reminder of how to, because we are in the latter part of September. We got a couple of months left before things really start to get there. So thank you, Penny Lee, for that reminder. So let's go right into our introductions, and let's start with Eric. Eric, how are things?
Once again, that mute button. I always forget where it is. So yeah, the week was great. We did our face-to-face. We went to Terry's location on Prince of Wales, which was awesome. So thanks for hosting that. And it's always nice to be face-to-face. And you know, Zoom is great and all, but very, very different. And so as the intro for, I'm Eric Perron. I'm your real estate advisor with England Volkers. We just had our fall kickoff at the Rideau Club last night, and it was amazing. It was amazing to see the insights of everybody. It was amazing to see face-to-face, just like we did in our group this week. Face-to-face really brings the energy upon us, and it brings the transfer of information. It brings the transfer of energy, the transfer of wealth that we all have inside our heads. We're able to share everything that we have with other people, but also receive what we have from other people. So in real estate, if you're looking to get information, which I'm actually doing today at 11 o'clock with a client of mine, long-lasting client of mine, we're meeting so that we can share information and figure out what she's going to do next. So if you need any information in real estate, home renovations, anything else, please do reach out. Eric Perron, your advisor at England Volkers.
Bang on, Eric. Thank you very much. Okay, next up is Terry Black. Go ahead, Terry.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Terry Black, your retirement living professional in the group. Thanks, Tony, or thanks, Penny, for that little exercise at the beginning there. That was really the education. That was really great. So I am a community relations person. So I work with Riviera Living, and what I do is I go out and educate people, companies, organizations, individuals on retirement living, and that's what I am focusing on in October. So I'm focusing on outreach, and I'm looking for your favorite charity, your organizations that might need some help meeting their goals. So if you can, get back to me with some ideas of who you support, that would be great. Nonprofits that type of thing. Revere Living, where you experience more living. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Terry. Awesome. And over to Mike.
Great. Thank you, Tony. That's a great thing that you're doing, Terry. Not for you folks that do not know, in my first career, I was a collision shop owner for 23 years and in the industry for 30 years. I created a program called We Care Focused Distracted Driving, and one of the platforms is geared for new and about to be new drivers. I teach them the financial ramifications if they don't focus at the task at hand. Next week, Thursday night, Metcalfe Community Association is hosting an event. It's online, 60 minutes. Believe me, for a new driver and about to be a new driver. And I think Penny Lee can attest to this because she took this course with her daughter, that this 60 minutes will be the best investment of your time as far as it comes to driving safety. On the Phoenix website, Tony showed me this morning, when you go on the site, you'll see the events calendar right at the bottom. If you scroll down, hit mine, you'll get a poster, send it out. Send it out to anybody that you know as a new driver. And also for business owners, example, Eric, you know what, send this out to your clientele. It's a goodwill marketing opportunity for you. It's a touch point. It'll show the community that your customers, that you care about your community as an example. Pretty easy to do. Let's get people signed up because collectively together we could save a life or mitigate somebody causing an at-fault accident, which is an accident that they've caused. If you're distracted, you're not driving.
Thank you, Mike. And Penny Lee, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Penny Lee Prevost, the dancing motivator and co-founder of the Graduate Thrivers Incorporated. I am a mindset and movement mentor. I help people move through change in a positive way using the 4 C's for success strategy and the positive attitude zone philosophy. Particularly monthly, we have stepping stones for success for new entrepreneurs who are looking to grow their business with some guidance and support. And so that happens the 4th Tuesday of the month, which was, of course, this past week, which is why I couldn't make it to the Mix and Mingle. My apologies. But it's an opportunity really for people to gain clarity on their vision, where they want to go, and how to get there, and brainstorm ideas, because we all have different experiences and we come from different walks of life. So being able to contribute to other people's success is part of that category number 4, which is the emotional well-being. And of course, I implement this in my movement practice at the same time. So what I'm looking for this week are entrepreneurs who are relatively new in business and would like some guidance on how to build their business without the overwhelm. So at Graduate is where success takes flight.
Thank you, Penny Lee. Tanya, over to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tanya Hewitt from Beyond Safety Compliance. I'd like to thank Penny Lee for her exercise this morning, because often when we think of success in our society, we often think of just money, right? We look at accumulated goods, we look at the vacations we take, we look at just things of material value. But really, when you get down to it, it's so much more than that. I think Aristotle had written about this, and Plato, and a whole lot of people have talked about the good life, and work is part of the good life. It is how you can contribute to a greater good. And it also can help you with having social connections. It can also help you with your physical well-being, because normally you have to move at least a little bit when you were doing some work, and it's going to help you emotionally overall as well. So workplaces are part of a good life, and because a lot of people have toxic workplaces, they need to start looking at how to change that. So Beyond Safety Compliance, how does your work look?
Thank you, Tanya. Okay, and over to Natasha. Natasha, can you hear us? Not sure if she's driving or.
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay,
Can
go
you hear me?
ahead.
Yeah, you can hear me well?
I can, yep.
Good. Okay. So my name's Natasha, I'm community developer with the Eastern Ottawa Resource Center. And just to mention that we are a nonprofit organization. We are a registered charity as well. And actually, Terry, to circle back, just to note, just to put a little bug in your ear, we currently have a biweekly senior social that we are actively looking for funding for. So if ever you're looking for, you mentioned maybe looking for something, that's URC is a worthwhile charity for sure. What else would I say? Upcoming events, we have an event on October 7th, and it's a free community event at the AMA Center on Hunt Club, right by South Keys. 11 a.m. to 4. If anyone wants to come out and spend some time with their family, there's bouncy castles and virtual reality and face painting and basketball and henna. Anyway, a lot of stuff going on. Food, and it's a free event, free day. So yeah, come on out at the AMA Center on Saturday, October 7th. Guess that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. I'm not sure what it is about bouncy castle. It always puts a smile on my face. It's just seeing kids laugh. Sam, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Tony. Good morning, everyone. There's my contact information right there. Sam Sturz, connectedcars.ca, also known as Dashcam Sam, because I installed dash cameras and electronics and things like that in vehicles. Also do minor repairs and oil changes and brake jobs. And well, last week I talked about the importance of oil changes in your car, especially if you have a non-EV vehicle, that is. So if you have a vehicle that's gas driven, you need to change that oil at least every 10,000 kilometers. And I'll give you two examples of what can happen. It's called engine sludge. And that occurs when you ignore the regular oil changes. And the first case was a neighbor of mine going back about 10 years ago. And he ignored his oil changes because he had a lease car. And it cost him $5,000 to replace the engine in that vehicle because, well, he ignored them. And the second one is a friend of mine I play baseball with, and he's got a Jetta, and he ignored the oil changes, and it got engine sludge. But luckily, I got to it soon enough, I think. I'm still watching it closely, but I got the oil changed in that, and he's still driving the vehicle. It's not consuming any oil that I know right now, but you never know. So make sure you change that oil regularly in your vehicle, at least every 10,000 kilometers. Sam Sturz, connectedcars.ca, today's mobile electronics without the cost of the vehicle, and a heck of a lot more.
Thank you, Sam. And Bernie, over to you, sir.
Folks, Bernie Franzro, Creative Insight Consultants. We do business connections between businesses. So go to different events or make connections and introduce people. I can make it a longer story, but I won't do that. So Knack for Business is the other part. It's a podcast that I have. It talks about business and the journey some people have taken and the golden nuggets they have. Also involved the Property Wizard, where I'm a co-host, and that is about commercial real estate investment, to understand that. Also just tagged in there the World Referral Network. And there are over 1,000 members in that space, free to join, and you can communicate. And as part of Phoenix, you can also be in that space. So you can communicate and share your events that are coming up. So that's another place you can post content, right? If you have content, you want to post it, you wanted to get it wider spectrum, you can also post it inside that space because it's a global entity. Over to you, Tony.
Okay. Thank you for that reminder, Bernie. That just got me thinking about something else. That's great. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Tony Jennis from Higher Self. I'm the spirit guy of the group. I got this one call from a person that's been listening to my podcast for a couple of years now, and she connected to me. She's from Brooklyn, New York, and had a various physical things going on. One was a leak in her lungs, in her heart. and wanted to know if there's anything that could be done from a spirit perspective that could do that. And I said, in time, yes. And so I worked with her. We had one session, and I just got a text from her a few days ago. And the text read, "Hi, Tony, just wanted to text you in excitement. I went to my cardiologist today and had asked to do an electrocardiogram and an EKG, or EKG is electrocardiogram. And it went from moderate to mild. And it said it was very unusual that it would go that way, because usually my particular condition usually gets worse. It doesn't get better," he says. So he says, "Oh, it's one of those things that just happens." And I kept thinking of the healing that we had in the meditation that we had regarding the tree, where I imagined the roots going through my body and covering everything. Wow, this is such amazing. Can't wait to meet with you again. So when we have a mindset in a certain way, that does control how the body works as well. If the body is feeling that it's free, it's easy, then it has the chance to heal on its own. And so mindset is related to your blind set. Look at how you are feeling, and the body will follow you. Tony Jennis from Higher Self, where we are here to raise your spirits. Now, every week we give one of our members more of a chance to talk about their business, talk about their industry, than in only a 1-minute segment. And this week we're showcasing Norm Boyer from Boyer Boys Maintenance people. And so take it away, Norm. Tell us a little bit about.
I'm going to try to share my screen.
Yep, you should be able to.
Okay.
I'll just wait until you get going, and I'll put the timer on, just so you don't waste any time.
Okay, are we good there? You see that? Where heat is?
Yep. Heat is ultra ray spectrum. Okay, cool.
So I didn't know what order to do this, but I decided to do a bit of education why certain things work. Heat is the ultra red spectrum. Heat from the sun is a short wave. All other heat is a long wave from your body, your stove, your fridge. Anything that produces heat is a long wave. So how this makes a difference, when you have the sun coming in, it's coming in a short wave. It penetrates most glasses, and then but when it hits the asphalt or anything else, it goes from a short wave to a long wave. So a lot of window glasses will refract long wave, but not short wave. So I'm going to take that off and see if I can open up. Okay, I'll do this one then. Okay. So heat flows from hot to cold object. When a hot or cold object are in thermal contact, they exchange heat energy until they reach thermal equilibrium, which the cold body cooling down on the hot body warming up. So this, we experience this all the time. And I know Penny Lee's doing that because I saw her put a shawl or blanket over her shoulders. And that's what's happening. It means her room is colder than her body. So the body wants to, the heat from her body wants to leave. So by putting that blanket on or whatever she's got over her shoulders, this is trapping your body heat, right? So that's what you want to do. So your body's comfort zone is how close you can get to a hot or cold surface before you feel uncomfortable. And the weakest spot is usually windows. So when you go near a window and it's in the wintertime, that glass surface is going to be cold. So it's going to suck body heat from you. So we call this the comfort zone, how close you can be to a cold object before it starts affecting you. So if you have a good sized window and you're 20 feet from it, it's different than if you're 5 feet from it or 4 feet from it. It'll suck your body heat. Your body heat's going to want to go out that window. So houses are built to achieve your body's comfort zone. Now, the weakest spot for heat and cold transferring buildings are windows and doors. Like building code right now, uh, 2x6 construction house, the wall has got R20. That R is resistance to heat. The higher the number, the less heat penetrates that barrier. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and he said 60 is the value for the ceiling. 60. Most windows building code is 2.73. So from 60 to 2. So you can see why the windows are the one that loses heat the most. So that's the thing to look at. So I'm going to try now to see if I can open that that video that I have showing the difference between glasses. Okay, let's see if I can. It doesn't want to do that. I want to see if I can see my screen. Tony, do you have that video that I do from my website showing the heat transfer?
Yeah, that's the 366 video.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you play that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna find it here. We have it on our Phoenix page. Just give me a second here.
Now I have a big job that I quoted.
Yeah, I have it. I found it.
Hey, play that then.
What we're going to do is demonstrate how much heat goes through your glass. We have a heat lamp here producing heat. We have a meter which is measures BTUs. So we set to 500 BTUs. If your house is built before 1990, you're going to get 2 layers of glass, no coatings on it. So that means 330 BTUs are still escaping through that glass. If you have glass recommended by the government in the building code, we put this in, and it's a low E, still 311 BTUs passing through that glass, so still heat coming through. If you have a room that's too hot, too cold, then we'll put this layer, 3 layers of silver, and here transparent, and it brings our reading down to 6. So now your room is not going to be too hot, too cool. And we don't have to replace your windows. We can just replace your glass.
Okay, we're back.
We're back.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a bit of a history about what they've been trying to do to improve the efficiency of glass. So the first high performance glass was called a heat mirror, and it was 3 layers, but one of the layers was a polyester film suspended in between the glass, and that film had some coatings of metal on it so thin you saw through it. So you had glass, aerospace, film, aerospace, glass, and that was in the late 80s. It was part of the technology from the space program, from the helmets, right? So they, Southwell had developed this film, licensed it to ABP and ABP Windows, and they put it in their windows, and they had exclusive rights in Eastern Canada for 2 years, provided they bought 2 rolls of this film every year. In the first 6 months, they bought 8 rolls.
Wow.
So they bought 8 rolls of just like a big rolls of saran wrap. So they would, put it in between the glass, heat shrink it. Then people in the industry, well, it's a trick, it's a gimmick, it won't work. They were grabbing so much market share that Ford Glass hired some people away from Southwell and tried to develop their own glass. They couldn't put in the film. They started putting the coatings in the glass. It produced some problems. Then it evolved to putting it on the glass. And now that's what's happening. You're putting it on the glass. So the one that you saw that brought the heat transfer down to 7 has 3 coatings of silver dioxide on one of the glass surfaces. So it reflects back the heat. So when it's hot in the summertime, it's reflecting it out. When it's hot in the wintertime, it's keeping it in. So one of the problems is that the government can't promote this because there's only one manufacturer who makes this, and another one makes a similar thing. So they can't say, oh, you got to use 366 glass, because it'd be like sole sourcing everybody. So now this grant for windows, to upgrade your windows, they're promoting triple glaze. And in the time of the heat mirror, one of the things somebody tried to do was put in a triple glazed glass, not with a film. And National Research Council did a whole bunch of studies on it and found that the triple glaze was really heavy, affected the size of the window you could have, it affected the hardware, you had to change the hardware, you had to change the strength of the window. You had a lot of failures because you had a cold chamber and a warm chamber, and it stressed the glass, so broke a lot of the seals. So the marketplace put it out in about 5 years. The triple glaze was out because it was no good. But what's happened now, all the old guys left, and the new engineers are saying if 2 layers are good, 3 layers would be better. Well, physics hasn't changed in 40 years. So they're reinventing the wheel when the wheel was kind of lopsided on one side and didn't really work. So that's the problem with the government getting involved in trying to promote things, right? They promote high ER ratings instead of high R ratings. So there's a difference as what the government's trying to tell you what code is. The Titanic was built to code, right? So your houses are built to code. But unfortunately, your house won't sink. But the ideal of the high performance glass, the 366, is to equalize the temperature in your house. If the sun comes in on the south side in the summertime, that side is too hot. Your air conditioner is trying to balance the heat, right, which has trouble. In the wintertime, it's the opposite. You're trying to, or in the summertime, you're trying to balance the cool. In the wintertime, you're trying to balance the heat, and the sun gives you a really hard time. This is why the 366 glass makes a big difference. I tried to get a competitive quote for a customer. I couldn't find anybody who does what we do. So we stuck with my quote, which I thought was high because I have to rent scaffolding. So is there any questions that you want to ask? About efficiencies, or the other thing is air leakage, but that's another whole story. I don't have a time to talk about air leakage.
So Norm, when you're doing the installation, do you do a before and after assessment? So in other words, to show the owner, so they have an understanding, or if it becomes part of an energy audit, right? Is there something like, how does that affect the energy audit? Because I know you have to have a rating prior and post installation. Does that wow the factor? Does that cost effective or what?
Well, what they're doing there, they don't consider. So they try to get you to go to triple glazed glass for the energy audit to get a high ER ratings, but my glass will not pass the ER rating because it cuts out the heat from the sun, right? And they're saying, oh, you want free solar gain, but north side, you're not getting any solar gain. South side, you got lots of windows, you're getting too much. Mm-hmm. So you're getting a lot of it in the summertime because it's got bright sunny days or south facing. But in the wintertime, you don't get a lot of sun. And when you do get it, it comes to for 3 or 4 hours, right? And then as soon as the sun goes away, it zips right back out. That's using like a 180 or standard low week. So I totally have to uneducate people what government is saying, right? And so what you have to pay extra for windows, they're not paying the whole windows, they're paying some of the portion. But what you have to pay extra to upgrade to what they want you to get it's cheaper to buy windows with 366 rather than triple glazed with all this fancy stuff in ER. So my whole career was the government's lying to you. And so I would have to uneducate what the government is saying. They're wrong, right? They have technical writers and but with my 366, immediately after I put it in, you feel a difference, right? Knowing how much energy you save is a 1-year process. You have to take the energy costs that you had last year, right? I find the degree days, you put new windows in, you go for a year of degree days, and then I call the Weather Bureau and say, what's the degree days for this year? And then I have a complicated formula and say, this is how much energy you save. But with my 366, I went from, you can't sit in the room. I put the 366, you can now sit in the room because it's comfortable, right? So the anybody says, oh, we're going to save 40%, 60%. Well, yeah, you can't, that's numbers are pulling out of the air. The only way you can do it, degree days, is how many days that you have to heat the house, right? And the Weather Bureau knows that. So this year there's this many degree days, and so the year before this many degree days, and you do the comparison. So it's a complicated formula. This will save you energy by putting technology that was proven wrong 40 years ago in your house. Yeah, okay, fine. Well, so that's a problem with the energy audit. Now, the leakage of the energy audit is really good. It's leaking here, right? Here's all the leaks. Then it's easy to seal the leaks. You can see that immediately by weather stripping or caulking or whatever you need to seal the leaks. But the window's a whole other subject.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Well, if anybody wants any other information, you can schedule a BAM with Norm. And for those that are watching, a BAM is a business activity meeting where two members get together and they just discuss and they try and find out what more they could find that they could relay that information to somebody else. We're not actually salespeople for you, but we want to be able to get to the point where a person that might be interested in someone else's product, we have a curiosity level, and we have an area where people are sort of wanting more information. And if you give that kind of referral to someone, it's the best because it's like diving into warm water. You're not trying to do a cold call in a sense that you're trying to explain everything, because we are all experts at our own product, but we just need to give other people just enough so that they can make that decision to seek you out. And so that's what that business activity meeting does. So we can schedule that with Norm. He's got a place just off of Dwyer Hill, up by. So what is the address? It's not Smith Falls. It's not Ottawa. With the.
It's R5 Smith Falls.
Oh, it is Smith Falls. Okay.
We live in Ottawa.
Yeah. Okay.
Stevens, and our mail comes from Smith Falls, so our address is R5 Smith Falls. But we pay taxes to Ottawa.
Right, of course.
Yeah, you want to try to get a police check when you try to explain to the police that you live in Ottawa.
Yes.
You got to go to Smith Falls.
So Norm has been doing this for many, many decades, and it's I think it's 3 generations that you have in your truck, your son and your grandson, and so it's great to see that you're passing on that kind of knowledge and experience to the next generation. So way to go, Norm. And so the speaker for next week, I think you had it posted there, Penny Lee, who's going to be. Oh, you are speaking next week. Wonderful. And the week after, I believe, just going down here. Oh, there's no meetings after that because it's Thanksgiving, and so yeah, okay. So we will we'll look forward to your presentation next week. That's great. Thank you, Penny Lee, for keeping track of that. And just to give you a little update on how we're doing overall, referrals are 393. And it's posted on our pbex.ca site on our homepage. So we have 393 business referrals this year since January. Our business is 211,000 of shared business that we have reported so far. In terms of the BAMs, it's 384. Again, they're so close together. And it's kind of an interesting thing to see. And as we see more BAMs, the referrals start edging up as well. And so it's a great thing. The e-cards, we are now keeping track because these are potential future clients for all of us. Our goal was to get 10,000 hits as a group, and we're at 9,400 at the end of September. So we're well on our way to hitting that goal. And thank you for Penny Lee because she had brought up that if you want a goal, let's write it down. Let's all focus on it. And each month we saw it go up. Last month alone, we did over 840 hits as a collective group. And what that means is when somebody scans your e-card or your electronic business card, that gives that person a chance that they have that information, your contact information, on their phones. And usually within a very short time, they'll get a hold of you. But oftentimes, and I'm seeing that now even personally, that people will hold on to that for a year, 2 years or more. And as people get new phones, one of the first things they do is upgrade all their contact information and migrate it over to their new phone, meaning that your information is staying with that client for years. And when they are looking, I remember this one person selling whatever product it was, they'll go through the list in their query and they'll find you. And when they hit that e-card, any changes that you've made, you could have changed your phone number, your website, maybe even your social media, all of that stuff will be updated as soon as they hit that e-card again. So it's a marvelous tool from an electronic perspective. So that's why we keep track of that, because these are also future clients. So, all right. So just from special events that we've got happening that are highlights. Mike talked about his We Care focused distractive driving, and we now have it on the homepage. So this is the link you want to send people if you have new drivers in your family or in your neighborhood. You realize there's someone that just got their license. Strongly urge that they see Mike and come to this particular Zoom meeting. It is free for this particular one that's happening on the 5th of October. And so it's a great way to introduce the ramifications of that driving itself. So it is a great part that they can get that information. Annual fun day that Natasha had brought up. This is their third annual community fun day, and it basically for the kids, face painting, basketball tournaments, and it's just a all around fantastic way to get out and see things while the weather is still very favorable. It looks like we're gonna have a good next couple of weeks before the snow flies. So strongly recommend that there's things. I believe they're still looking for sponsorship. I'm not sure, Natasha, if you're still looking at, but we have it all posted that the type of sponsorship that your name can go out for, and there's over 1,000 people, and that was a weeks ago that had already signed up for this. So the over a concentrated time, it is a good opportunity for exposure for your business. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind, if I'm just going to speak.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. I feel almost badly every time I ask for funding, if but it's it is the nature of our nonprofit reality, and we're just like so shy of our target. So we are still $800, 800 short of our target.
800. Okay. All right. So the packages are there. The silver package, which has all the things listed there, from mentioning your name and the different ways. And I guess there's social media exposure as well. I'm not sure if the signage is enough time because it's only another week before your event, but certainly they can make sure that they could give you a table, or they can do something at the last minute to try to give as many people that exposure to that. So yeah, thank you, Natasha, for putting this on. This is a great thing for the community.
Thank you.
And the The other part of it is our mix and mingle. We had just a couple of days ago, which was great. We've already got the next mix and mingle already set up for October the 24th at 6:30. This is going to be at Ingle and Volkers. It's our Eric Perron's location. He's going to really set us up. It's on Somerset at the west end of Ottawa. And all you have to do to sign up is basically just click the link and you are in. Okay. So it's if you can come to that, we would love to see you. There's also a women's entrepreneurship for the 28th. This is I believe it's done by Susan Ebbs and the like. And so there's a lot of information there for women in business and how to share, get them sort of out of, if you've been out of business for a while. This is a great way to be able to get that exposure and that kind of thing. And just a couple of things are, tomorrow, of course, is a full moon, and this is a great time to be able to start anything. If you're signing papers, important papers, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's anything, always try and sign as close to a full moon as possible. It has the most energy, the most light, and from a business perspective, it gives you a better chance for those things to come true. In other words, if you are signing something and let's say as you're signing, your pen runs out of ink, or the pen for whatever is not working in some way, or something doesn't align, and that gives you that idea that maybe you should not have done that. So I can give you more information about that after. But the truth and consequence, or the truth and reconciliation, is our Indigenous people. This is where we honor those people in our past in this country that has given so much to us, and it's that respect and recognition that we are doing for the 30th. So wear orange if you can, and it gives that respect. On the 1st, and every Sunday, Jacqueline Richards is doing her chair yoga and ways to move around and do that kind of magic to keep you active and keep everything working well. Monday, of course, is our Bell's Corners group. On later in that Monday, 10:30. Penny Lee is doing her dancing, and later on she does her moving to heal. It's all about moving and is medicine, and to keep those vital signs operating at its highest peak. On the 3rd is our after hours group. It's a mastermind group that we've created, and it happens once a month. Those that can't network during the week because they're so busy during the day, we've incorporated this on a monthly, and it's not only a networking opportunity, but it's also, we talk about goals, we talk about how we can attain those, and we're all accountable. We have to try and hit those marks because like Penny Lee said earlier, we only have a couple of months left and we're at the home stretch, and this is where we're going to do a lot of our business, if not most of our business, for some people. So if we are going to be focused on that, you can come out and see what that's all about. East Group is on Wednesdays, and Nia is also working on with Penny Lee in that space. And we talked about the Mike's We Care Focus as well. On the 7th, the same day as the EORC, the Dreamers Walk, it has it for cystic. I'm not sure if it's cystic fibrosis or
cerebral palsy.
Thank you. Cerebral palsy, and it's our who was doing that? David. I forget.
Humphreys. David Humphreys.
Humphreys. Thank you very much, there, Bernie. Yeah, David Humphreys has been doing that, and it is a great opportunity to get out and walk the kids. It's at the Dome, and the information is all in the link there. And in a couple of weeks, we have our Thanksgiving. There's no meeting that week, just to give us time for our family and our kids and so on. And just looking for anything else. Of course, every Monday after that, of course, Dave has his BAM barbecue, and information is set in there. Okay.
There's one other item. I believe it's Carl's podcast.
Yes. Thank you.
On a Thursday.
Yep. Carl Richards has his podcast Jumpstart Bootcamp. If you're thinking in that space that you want to expand your market, you want to be able to show people your expertise in your business, what a great way to do it than creating a podcast where you have a bunch of followers. And I've noticed is it was getting to be a spirit coach like myself is one of the hardest categories because it's intangible. There's so many things about it that people need to be explained. And it took me 2 years to finally start bringing clients in due to my podcast. So those that are in different industries, it will happen a lot faster because people just get it. This is a great way to jumpstart that particular opportunity. So check out Carl's link there, and we'll see if that gets going. And we get right into our I have portion. If you've done business with somebody, do you have a testimonial? If you've done a referral with somebody, let us know. We're going to keep track of that. And we are at about 4.5 million in business and about 60, almost just under 7,000 referrals since we started Phoenix about 7 years ago. So let's start with Penny Lee, if that's okay to do. Penny Lee, how was your week in business?
My week has been really good. Thank you, Norm, for the presentation. It's always a good reminder. And I love how you educate people why things are the way they are. I love that. So thank you for that. I keep you in mind for people that I know that are looking for upgrading their windows and such. I had a really good week. I actually mentioned the other day that Mike had referred me to Tanya, who her daughter was getting married. So I did the wedding and then walked the grounds, and we've decided to collaborate. But she also teaches yoga and is doing a yoga retreat day the end of October. And so she's invited me to come and do some NIA there as well. So that's a great collaboration that I was able to cultivate as a result of the referral from Mike. So thank you for that. Also, I have ongoing business with Louise. Norm, thank you so much for helping her get on the iPad. I know it's a little challenge for her, but she just has so much fun, and I love watching her increase mobility every time we dance. So she's doing the Moving to Heal with me on Wednesdays, and she was actually the motivation to change my class time to 2:00. So now hopefully we have more people joining us. Also starting my fall season for all my classes coming up. And of course, I'm going to be launching a Vision to Victory workshop very soon, because now is the time to think about what you want for 2024. So that's it for me. Have a great week, everyone.
Hey, thanks, Penny Lee. And Terry, how was your week?
It was great. As I said, I was busy in the community and doing our Phoenix group. And also I had 2 days of training this week. So that's what kind of sparked my outreach this for goal for October. But I just wanted to share something really quickly with you, if I can. Okay, so this is Jenna LaCharity, who is the marketing consultant at Barhaven Manor. So this is her outreach. So she has partnered with the Ottawa Dog Rescue and Pet Value in Barhaven. So she's offering on October 30th, a canine charity fashion show. So it's $10 to enter your dog, and all proceeds benefit the Ottawa Dog Rescue. And then each participating dog will receive a gift basket from Pet Value in Barhaven. So it's just kind of like a fun way to do outreach and collaborating as well. So that's what I'm kind of talking about when I reach, to help people just to collaborate and see how we can help raise money for them as well. So anyway, that's what we're doing.
Eric,
what a great idea.
Eric, can you share that information electronically? And we'll post it?
I will.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, send that over. We will post that. That's great. And Eric, over to you, sir. How was your week?
So good morning. Yeah, great week seeing everybody. So I got a couple of highlights here that I really wanted to make sure I use my minute on. So Norm, so well said when you say a house is built to code, but it doesn't mean it's right, just like the Titanic.
That's right.
Love it. And we're all about the information. And Penny, your education, right on point. Mike, love the idea that the drive thing. Actually, my son is going to be 16 next year. and he's a great driver online, iDriving and PlayStation and all that kind of stuff. But he's going to need to know some safety stuff, so I'm going to see if I can get him on there. And Tanya, yeah, your work and your experiences. My experience last night at Engel and Volkers was like I've never had in a workplace. The culture, the like-mindedness is unbelievable how strong the culture is there. So one of the reasons I moved there is because I wanted to move towards that kind of a culture and mindset, and I'm there. So my suggestion to everybody out there is if you're not in that mindset, experience and people around you, boy, make a move. Take care, everybody.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Eric. And Norm, how was your week?
Good. The mix and mingle was really good. We got a lot out of that. Also the I forget his name, the Scottish guy.
Scottish guy. Oh, that's Malcolm.
Yeah, so I got to get together with Malcolm. He's thinking about doing something about the high performance glass. So it was a really busy week. So we're glad. And Mike, I got to find that information about your program that you've got, because I know somebody that really should be attending that. Is it an in-person thing?
Zoom.
Or is it a Zoom thing?
On
Mike?
Zoom.
It's on Zoom? Okay, I'll get the information to Chad and make sure that he attends. Twist his arm.
Yep. Yeah. The link is on the homepage and on the calendar, so it's easily accessible. So thanks a lot, Norm. And over to Tanya. How was your week?
Well, my week was great because I was.
I know.
I wanted to thank you, Norm, for highlighting that just because there is a law doesn't mean that that's the right thing to do or the end of the story. That's my whole message, that compliance is just the beginning, and the Titanic was compliant. The kind of sadistic thing about that is that they knew that the regulations were going to be changing and they didn't put the lifeboats in because they were going to do it eventually, just when the law required it. And so that's kind of the thinking, the mindset that Eric said, good cultures don't have, which is what I'm all about. And I hope to bring that to a lot more people once my website gets up and running, which is care of Steve Brennickmeyer and Ishmael. Hopefully I'll have something to say on that shortly. I just wanted to say, Norm, that I do have south-facing windows and I use curtains, which means I do not see my backyard in the summer because I keep the curtains closed in the summer, and I see my backyard in the winter because I keep them open in the winter. Have a great week, everybody.
Thanks a lot, Tanya. And just as a side note, it was legal in the 50s not to have a headrest until there was more whiplash cases, and that's why they did it after. So, Mike, how was your week, sir?
Thanks, Tony. Well, first of all, Paniti, thank you for your education. Some nice, easy steps to do, especially when you're waiting for your food or your cocktail at a restaurant. Do the napkin thing, what have you. Thank you, Norm, for your presentation today. I've seen many of them. You're obviously a subject matter expert when it comes to Windows. Terry, way overdue. I think we got to get together for a BAM as soon as possible. So I'll just reach out to you with an email to see what your schedule is like early next week. And Norm and Eric, with your new drivers, what I'll do is I'll send you an individual email, just has a little bit more detail on it. And I really, really advise that you guys come onto this program too, 60 minutes, because most of my testimonials come from seasoned drivers. They're like, wow, I didn't know that, and I didn't know that. So I could even be saving you some unnecessary heartache. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mike. And Sam, over to you. How was your week in business?
Thank you, Tony. First of all, Norm, great presentation as usual when it comes to the glass business there. I was just wondering if Matt Ledard would be somebody that you could collaborate with. The Arizona business there. It's you could say, hey, you might not need an air conditioner if you do this glass thing with Norm. So anyway, just an idea. Things going on. Well, I continue to advertise for Revolta with pamphlets with all my sales receipts. Hopefully helping out there. I did an exchange with Wendy from the golf tournament. I got a certificate from Shane and I exchanged it for one from Dave. So I'm going to be buying some steaks. And Mike, I'm going to be sending off that information to my sister-in-law. She's in Kitchener and her son is in university in Thunder Bay, but he's 17 years old and certainly could benefit from your class there. I had my kids take your class and certainly a fantastic thing. I even learned, you know, when it comes to vehicles or cell phones and the fact that, you know, not using it, the police officer that was there informed me of the law and what it applies to, you know, making sure you don't touch the cell phone. You have to be off the road and in park. That's what he told me. I remember that, and I passed that along to many people. So thank you, Mike, and I will be passing along the information to my sister-in-law. That's it.
Yeah, and we have actually one of Mike's videos on everyone's e-card. It's under causes and links on all your e-cards, about halfway down, and it's texting while driving sort of link. And there's a video on there on Mike's program.
Yeah, it's one that Tony did for me.
Yes, that's the one we did for you.
One of many that you've done.
Yeah, we did a few of them. Yep. So
I want to say something to Sam. If somebody's thinking about buying a car, bring it to Sam or your mechanic. We were looking at a vehicle. They wanted $7,500 for it. Brought it to our mechanic and said, how much it'll take to put it on the road? Said another $7,500. We did not buy the vehicle.
Wow.
$67 for our mechanic to look at it, and he said, "This is wrong. This 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 is wrong." Our tester lit up like a Christmas tree. Don't buy this van. And you know, our mechanic said the problem is they come to us after they bought the vehicle and find that they have to put thousands of dollars. So if you got somebody that wants to buy a vehicle, tell them to go bring the vehicle to Sam, and he'll look at it and said, "You're going to put this much money into it. Do you really want to do that?" No, yeah. I'll look for something I don't have to do that to. So
yeah, that's a good point.
That's great advice. In 30 years in the collision industry, anybody buying a used car that's not safety checked, best investment, bring it to a mechanic, have them check it out, because the car might look pretty, the interior looks gorgeous or what have you, but it can cost you more to put the car back on the road safe than what the car is actually worth. So great tip, Norm.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thanks a lot, Norm. Bernie, how was your week, sir?
Pretty good. I would recommend that if you're posting content on LinkedIn, tag somebody in the Phoenix group so we can post it onto the Phoenix page. So like Mike had some content, we posted it in that space. But if you're posting it on your, like Terry did for the mix and mingle, you know, in the comment section, tag either Tony or myself, because we can it'll flag it for us, and we can repost it. I mean, if I find it, I'll post it. If I don't find it, I can't post it. Not that I won't. All right. But Terry, it was perfect. The photos are great. So if you have content material, that is one way for us to get it pushed out. And if you see something being posted in the Phoenix LinkedIn page, capitalize on it and add a comment, especially if there's somebody you want to direct it to or groups of people. It's a good way to have it echoed out. All right. So in other words, in Mike's case, there's something we put in that place. In the comment section, he comes in and types it in. If you're feeling that your audience isn't in the LinkedIn page, well, if they're in business, you probably are. And so start gearing up that way. Start having that thought process. Doesn't mean everything has to be chucked in there, but you know, you can start putting that content. Like Norm, great presentation, by the way. Same concept though. If you have a business LinkedIn page, now you can have your personal one and you can have a business LinkedIn page. That's the other part. Have a business LinkedIn page, because that's people are going to search out for that business in the business world. That's where they're going to go hunting. Otherwise, you're doing Facebook or you're doing Instagram, which are totally good, depending where your audience is sitting, where your clients are sitting, right? So I'm going to stop there because I can keep going. And Penny Lee's waving goodbye.
No, put in the chat the speakers for after the Thanksgiving weekend. So if you want to take a look at that, so you know who's, I think it's Natasha or Joanne from the Eastern Ottawa Resource Center, which will be good timing for her. And Eric, I sent you a message to ask if you could do the education next week. Okay, good. I got to go now.
Okay. All right. Take care.
Bernie, I have a question.
Anyway, we gotta get, oh, she's gone. Oh,
Yeah.
Paul.
Sorry, Bernie, I have a question.
Yeah.
So would you prefer that I send it to you so that you make the post originally, then I can share
Oh no,
it?
it's
No,
it's perfect. No, it's actually better if you're doing the post. What's happening is I'm taking your content, I'm putting it on Phoenix, but it comes back to you, so you're
Okay.
recognized. So no, that was perfect. You can either do it either way, but it's perfect because what happens is it reinforces people to go to your page, and when you highlight Rivera and the people you talked about, it has a ripple effect. And it's a positive ripple effect, right? So it provides more churn, more communication.
Yeah, better if you do it in other words, and then we will
Yeah,
sort of follow
absolutely.
You know, you're throwing in the stone to make the ripple, and we're making the ripple longer. You know,
Yeah, amplifying it.
yeah, for sure. Okay, and that's it for this meeting. I got a few reports that I got, but I don't want to take up too more of our time. So let's do the quote at the end. What words of
There is
wisdom?
nothing impossible to they who will try. Alexander the Great.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much for and those that are listening and watched us on social media. Thanks a lot for joining in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.